Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first session of the British Grand Prix weekend. It is our only free practice session of the weekend, as we are lucky enough to get a sprint race for the British Grand Prix. First time since 2021, which was the first sprint race ever. Looking forward to this weekend. You are live here with the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. My name is Evan. I will be your commentator for this weekend. You probably haven't heard from me in a minute. The last time I was on was back at the Japanese Grand Prix, which, if I'm to be honest, feels like a absolute lifetime ago. So I'm happy to be back. I'm really looking forward to this session. Of course, free practice one sessions when we have a sprint weekend are always more entertaining because the drivers have got to get out there and they've got to push 100%. And if they don't, or if something goes wrong, say, you best believe that they are going to pay for that through lack of experience and probably worse qualifying and overall race pace and a worse result as a byproduct. So it is very important that they nail it out of the gates. Seeing some hellos back. Hello, it's good to see you all. I hope you're all excited for this session, or at least as excited as I am. You can see we've got a graphic up currently looking at the tyres we have. We have the C1, C2, and C3 tyres, which are our three hardest compounds for this weekend. We have, as you see, we also have some brief scales explaining the track experience and the pressure on the tyres. So track evolution, yeah, it's about there or there. About the lateral pressure and tyre stress, very, very high. And asphalt grips are quite high. With a very high quality circuit. That Silverstone is, of course, used a lot throughout the weekend. I will say now, with this being a free practice session, there will be some slightly more quiet moments. If any of you have any questions you would like to ask during the practice session, whether it be prompted by something I say or just something you think about, feel free to ask them. I will do my best to answer them. And hopefully we can have a good time. Am I watching on F1 TV? No, I use because I'm Australian. I use an Australian-based sports streaming platform called KO Sports, where I watch all of my Formula One sessions. Speaking of all the Formula One sessions, here on the Racing Statistics YouTube channel, we stream every single session with commentary. I will be back for the sprint tomorrow, and the rest of the sessions will be commentated by our brilliant main commentator, Grash. Seeing here, risk of rain for free practice one is 0%. Must say, I am not surprised at all. The temperature for Sunday's Grand Prix, 27 degrees Celsius is the last time I checked was the expected temperature. So it's going to be pretty hot by UK standards. We'll see. So I highly doubt we'll get rain. We'll see, though. Everyone, yes, good idea. Put your favorite teams and drivers into the chat. We'll go over them. Real shocker is an Australian. My favorite is Oscar Piastri, my glorious king. But my favorite team, not McLaren. No, I'm special. Audi supporter right here, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're few and far between, but we are out there. Really hoping Nico might be able to deliver on some points. Now, one worth mentioning, we have 3 one-off liveries for this weekend. I will go over them quickly. Unfortunately, you guys won't get to see any pictures of them. But I would recommend you go find some images of them because some of them are lookers. No, don't waste your time, man. That's the Williams. Williams have claimed they're doing a special livery for this weekend. In reality, it's the exact same livery. It's just they are running on the sides of the nose cone, they have a Union Jack-ish sort of pattern, which is like in paint splashes. So it's like, quote unquote, a custom livery, but in reality, it's not really. it looks like the same old Williams. You won't be mistaking it for any other cars on track. The next notable one is the Cadillac, again bringing a custom livery, and this one is a July 4th livery because, of course, today is July 3rd, tomorrow, July 4th. So, in celebration of that, as the local American team on the grid, they are doing a July 4th livery. Do I think it's funny that it's happening at the British Grand Prix? Absolutely. It's absolutely hilarious. I couldn't think of a funnier weekend to have it on. I'm sure you'll hear Grash sing its praises as our local American commentator. As an Australian, I think it's all right. I don't think it's anything crazy. I mean, it looks nice, but yeah, it's just standard kind of red, white, and blue. And we have on the final big livery change, this is a big livery change, is the McLaren. We're doing a throwback livery to the 1966 Monaco Grand Prix livery, which was won by Bruce McLaren, which of course was the first Grand Prix McLaren ever entered. And it's basically cover the whole car white. Imagine that. The whole car's white, and but it's got green highlights along the front wing, the top of the nose cone, and kind of along the mirrors. And I think they've also got a splash of green on the air intake on the engine cover. So I think it looks really, really nice. And it's also a really cool throwback livery celebrating McLaren's 60th year in the sport, with them debuting in 1966, and also the year where they achieved their 1,000th Grand Prix start. It's Crash. Crash is here. Crash will probably be popping up in the chat every now and then, but I will be covering the sprint and the free practice session for this weekend because I'm about. It's as an Australian, the European leg kind of practice session, or what's normally free practice 1 and free practice 3 are kind of the only sessions which aren't egregiously late, and where the rest of my household won't yell at me for screaming into a microphone that they've just gone 3 wide into the tightest corner on the track. So, as much as I would love to, I'd love to commentate at least one session every weekend. That's not quite practical. So, we work around it. Considering this was a sprint weekend, I thought, you know what? I might as well take the opportunity and commentate a competitive session, because they're always, as much as I do enjoy commentating free practice sessions, it kind of becomes a conversation with you guys rather than anything super duper serious. I do prefer commentating competitive sessions. You can get all excited about massive overtakes and whatnot. Any thoughts on what Ferrari did last race? Good question. Their strategy was something to behold. Definitely had a better strategy in Barcelona. Of course, I haven't talked to anyone on commentary about this. It was a great race, but I doubt anyone's missed it. If you have, Lewis Hamilton won by about 19 seconds. Oh, and that was a good strategy calls, which is like a world first from Ferrari. But I think they kind of tried to do a similar thing, but it didn't really work. Which, yeah. I think Lewis did a 5-lap stint on hard tires at one point and then pitted for no, not even new, used soft tires, which he then had for like 10 to 20 laps. I don't know what they thought they were cooking. Yeah, it was. I definitely think the car pace wasn't horrendous. I think Lewis would have probably finished 4th ahead of Piastri if it weren't for the questionable strategy calls. And I mean, yeah, Charles, he just didn't have any pace. I must say, this might be a bit of a hot take, and someone might be about to persecute me for this one. I think right now, Charles Leclerc is the most disappointing of all the drivers of the top 8 team. Someone might want to strangle me over that one. And I do love Charles. I think he's a brilliant driver. But I'm going to put it bluntly, he needs to turn his form around ASAP, because, I mean, you've got an Oliver Behrman who's clearly a very talented driver, sat there waiting in the wings for a drive at Ferrari. and Lewis is on his game nearly every weekend so far this year, and Charles has been very hit and miss in these cars. So he's got to act together, recover. I must say it's very unfortunate, sorry, that we are going to Silverstone after this poor run of form kind of since Canada, because Silverstone's a bogey circuit for the last 2 years. Charles Leclerc is P14 at the British Grand Prix, with in 2024 his teammate Carlos Sainz was 5th, I think. Someone fact check me on that one. And last year Lewis was 4th. Yeah, he was losing to a kick Sauber, but we'll move past that. That was a race of the decade sort of chaos. So it's not a great weekend for Charles. Of course, he nearly won back in 2021 after they made contact with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen into good old turn 9. Hopefully, no one tries one of those moves again. And of course, he was fairly competitive in the 2022 running of the race. Was kind of fighting for the win. Carlos, of course, eventually got it. His first race win for Ferrari and Formula One. So, he does sometimes have the ability to do well around here, but recently it's been a real bogey track for him. So we'll see how things go for Charles. But I mean, yeah, I think that kind of shows if he can turn it around at this track of all circuits, which is a Hamilton specialist track and a weak track for Charles Leclerc. If he can turn that around, I think we're fine. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to take that as like a definitive conclusion sort of thing. Can we talk about how fire the Cadillac livery looks? Oh, you missed the conversation. I do think it looks really nice. Really nailing the red, white, and blue feel. As much as I'm not American, I do feel I feel compulsively patriotic looking at it. I think it's quite cool. Looking at, of course, I see a lot of you sending in questions. Do keep the questions coming. We are 2 minutes out from the start of the singular free practice session this weekend. I must say, I did some thinking about the fact that we've got a sprint weekend here at Silverstone. I do think that Silverstone, of all circuits, is a good circuit to sprint around. Overtaking's relatively good. You've got just quickly flying through some decent overtaking spots that you have around a lap of Silverstone. You've got turn 3, you've got turn 6. If you're cocky, you've got turn 9, you've got turn 15, 16. You've got a fair few overtaking spots where you can really send it if you've got a pace advantage. Down the hanger straight, turn 14 to 15 is definitely the main spot. But I definitely think you can get overtaking done, which is a crucial part of a sprint race. Overtaking needs to be easy so we can get a good sprint race. And probably the other crucial bit, I think, for a good track to have a sprint race at is that all the drivers are really, really experienced at Silverstone. You will be hard-pressed to find a junior racing series that races in Europe but doesn't race at Silverstone. You've got Formula 2, Formula 3, GB3, GB4, British Formula 4. What else do we have? I think Formula Regional. I think Freca races there. Oh, they should. But yeah, it's on like everywhere. It's on every calendar basically. If you're doing single-seater racing in the junior ranks, and of course, all of these drivers come up the junior ranks. So you will be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't know how to do a lap of Silverstone on this Formula 1 grid. Even the relatively inexperienced, but still pretty talented Arvid Lindblad has done laps of Silverstone. And I'm not even saying that just because he's a British driver. He is he's done Formula 2, Formula 3. Oh, I think... No, he didn't do GB 3 or 4. He didn't come up through those. But he's done Formula... I know for a fact he's done Formula 3 and Formula 2, where he has raced here. So he will be a least experienced driver around Silverstone, has raced it at least 3 times off the top of my head. So all things considered, should be fairly smooth sailing. as Evan has somewhat more down under accent than Grash. Yes, I am, in fact, from the land down under, which is why you don't hear from me a lot. But when you do hear from me, you best believe I will show off my accent to its fullest extent. Open, looking at the end of the pit lane, we have Lewis Hamilton in his Ferrari. I saw someone point out to me recently that Lewis Hamilton looks like a a fried egg because you've got the red of the Ferrari and kind of the white around the cockpit and then a yellow helmet in the center, which is the funniest comparison I think I've ever heard. So I hope you all know that now and can never unsee it, just as I couldn't. Seeing here, Lewis Hamilton is now out on track. I will now, as my stream that I'm looking at for the visuals is different, or it's ahead of the stream you guys are seeing. So if the delay is too bad, someone tell me, someone yell at me. I will adjust things, but trusting that everything's looking all right, I think I'm pretty content to commentate with it as is. So yes, looking here, Lewis Hamilton's first one out. Hulkenberg, Lindblad, Colapinto, Bortoletto following him out. There, it's Liam Lawson behind him. Who, like, as much as people have now, I'm very happy. I started talking about how good of a season Liam Lawson is having. I honestly don't think we can sing his praises enough. He's only not scored points in one race this year, and that was Australia, where he had that really weird start issue where Colapinto nearly rear-ended him because he basically stalled on the grid. Speaking of coming out behind Lawson, Leclerc, Norris, Antonelli, Piastri following them out. Of course, that brilliant livery on McLaren, it just looks so good. Really, really liking it. Looking here at Lando's helmet, I think that I don't know if it's just the light, but it looks like the normally black bits on his helmet are like a reflective silver, which looks pretty cool. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it. Oh, of course, I'm a fan of his normal helmet anyways. Now, following Piastri out, we have Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez, Oliver Berman, Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Isaac Hadjar. Of course, as expected, everyone's quickly scurrying out of 60 minutes of practice to go. Lewis Hamilton's out there on a set of hard tyres. He'll be the first one to set a lap time. Having a look, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly out. The only two we're yet to see are Verstappen and Russell. Looking here, Lando's also on hard tyres, so we'll do some hard tyre running. The C3 tyres, we've got the 3 hardest tyre compounds for this weekend. Verstappen, yeah, Russell's out, and I imagine Verstappen will be out in a minute. I don't see anything indicating he shouldn't be. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking pretty good. Is Max coming out of the pit lane? I don't see him just yet. I'm sure he won't be long though. Looking here, we're just about to get a lap time from Lewis Hamilton. He's approaching he's going through turn 16 and 17. I'll get on top of my track, on top of my corner names soon, I swear. He crosses the line to set a benchmark of a 1:34.696 first lap of the session. Let me get up with the corner names so I can stop calling them by numbers. I know some of them, it's just I don't want to look like an idiot and get them wrong in front of a live crowd. Al Hulkenberg is second because we are like 5 minutes less than into the session. That is why you very rarely see competitive times immediately. Okay, here we go. And there we go. Max Verstappen exiting his garage to get out on track. Gasly has come back in. I hope that isn't an issue for him because that'd be rather unfortunate. Speaking of, I don't know if anyone noticed, but they've got a new livery. As we also see, Lando Norris now jump up to the top of the times on his hard compound tyres. As Antonelli now picks him, they're not telling me the gaps because they hate me. There we go. Antonelli did a 1:32.579. Piastri jumped up behind him. a 132.873. Everyone so far on hard ground tires. Having a look here, yes. So, what was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. The ADHD is coming in real handy right now. But yes, hopefully. Oh yes, Alpine. They've got a new livery. They like their side pods, which used to just be blue with the pink BWT on it, are now pink with a blue BWT on the side of it, which I think looks way better. I thought the old one looked a bit ugly, if I'm going to be honest. But they've gone from like a solid 6 out of 10 livery, in my opinion, to like an 8 out of 10 livery. It looks really nice. So, go have a look at it. But yes, currently Kimi Antonelli is first, Oscar Piastri is second, 3/10 behind, and then Hadjar is 6/10 behind everyone out there on the hard compound tires. So far, Audi's looking pretty good. P7, P10, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, respectively. Racing Bull's looking pretty good. P5, P9. Ferrari going to want to turn their fortunes around. P6, P8 currently, and a very comfortable margin off the pace. We, of course, are, yes, now just 5 minutes into the session. See, Yuki Tsunoda there in the Red Bull garage. Of course, now the reserve driver, Lando, has had his lap time deleted. Naughty, naughty Lando. Not sure what he's... assume he's run into track limits somewhere. So it's Carlos Sainz just had his lap time, deleted, as Verstappen begins on his run, which are also on the hard compound tires, yes. So things starting off hard, as I feel like they do tend to in free practice once on weekends. See that massive gap that the Red Bull rear wing opens up to. It's really something to be seen. 2/10 off Antonelli through the first sector for Max Verstappen. Interesting seeing here. Astons don't seem far off the hat. Well, Alonso at least is about there or thereabouts with Esteban Ocon's lap time, so that's not too bad for him. Of course, again, the practice session, we'll see how it turns out when they actually start pushing properly, but yes. I want to say speaking of Fernando Alonso, a concerning comment. Oh, sorry, I should talk about that. As George Russell goes fastest with oh my goodness, Lewis Hamilton, sorry, goes fastest with a 1:31.877, putting 6/10 between him and George Russell. Anthony is 7/10 behind. Lindblad now jumps up to 5th. I imagine there's a lot of track improvement. So far, we've had Formula 3 and Formula 2 out, I know for sure. Hulkenberg jumps up to 7th. So you've got a lot of track improvement currently, so I can't say I'm super duper surprised. Yes, surprised, sorry. Gasly jumps up to 11th. 3 seconds off him. Jumps up 4th, about a 0.776 seconds off the pace. Not too shabby. So currently we are a Britain at 1-2. We're seeing a replay here of Lando Norris. Coming through Village now. He runs wide, yeah. So that turn 3 area, Village corner, for those who also aren't familiar with corner names, is just run a bit wide. I think he might have locked up an inside tyre, and the rear left has stepped out on him. Leclerc's jumped up to 4th since I started watching that replay. Lawson's jumped up to 7th. Racing again, seeming like the best of the rest. Really, they've got a good package this year. Thing to be. Everyone has set a lap time, but not a representative lap time now. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris had their first lap times deleted, as Piastri now goes fastest with a 1:31.819 on the hard compound tires, ahead of Lewis, which means 1, 2, 3. Finding anything to group just at the front of the field now. Behrman, Ocon have just 12th, 12th, 13th, respectively. Seeing here, Lando, what going in relation to Piastri. At least there or thereabouts. A little bit up, pretty much there or thereabouts, only 0.025 seconds up. Speaking of up, Isaac Hadjar now jumps to the top of the times. Red Bull looking pretty good early doors. Speaking of, Anthony just set purple sector 1. It's so over. But yes, Hadjar 1:31.697, about up on Oscar Piastri's time. But yeah, Kimi Antonelli flying through the first sector, a 10th up on Piastri on Hadjar through the first sector alone. So again, I would imagine a lot of this is track improvement we've had a practice session for Formula 3 and Formula 2 so far. After this, we'll get qualifying for each of those, which you tune into if you can. Of course, we won't be covering it. Unfortunately, no, drop back a bit through the middle sector. You had a bit of traffic, so that might have been the cause of that. Antonelli ramps up by the end of the middle sector, purple middle sector as well for Kimi Antonelli. Very comfortably up as I see Alex Albon gets a lap time deleted. Really struggling with track limits early on, everyone seems to be. Lando Norris jumps up to fourth, 5/10 off Isaac Hadjar's pace, 4/10 off Oscar Piastri's pace. Kimi Antonelli now to the line to destroy everyone's hopes and dreams. No, we lost out in the last sector. Green last sector, a 10th off Hadjar. Hadjar's time stands. Well played, Isaac. I respect your game, Isaac. That's doing wonders for my fantasy team when he is in fact a permanent member. Speaking of purple sector 1, Max Verstappen 2/10 up on his teammate. Brilliant first sector. Come on, Max, bring it on. Red Bull. I did have a feeling Red Bull will be all right this weekend. So I'm quite happy to see that's paying off. I should have said it before the session started. I just saw a Cadillac there. That looked nice. Oh, as now the one of the Haas, missed who that was, forces very through Stowe Corner or Exeter Stowe Corner. As Hamilton now approaches the line, we're about to see Verstappen's middle sector. Hamilton to the line fastest by 0.263 seconds, a 1.34. Verstappen up on Hamilton's time still. These times are falling fast. Lindblad jumps up to about a second off Hamilton's pace. That's not too shabby. Seeing we're doing a front wing change for one of Williams. I can't see which one it is. Carlos Sainz, I believe. Yes, that is Carlos Sainz. He's running a one-off helmet. Verstappen goes fastest by 0.157 seconds over Lewis Hamilton, a 1:31.277. As Audi are now 7th and 8th, Hulkenberg and Bortoletto looking too shabby. But my theory why I think Red Bull are going to be good this weekend is, well, as Leclerc up to third, we know that they have the best ICU, internal combustion engine. No, ICE, sorry. Internal combustion engine. Lawson jumps up to 6th. Still yet to see anything other than the hard eyes. Oh, as Piastri gets real shaky through club corner. Up to second. Only 0.037 seconds at 1:31.314 for him. Good old pie there. I imagine that Piastri would have gone fastest if he hadn't had that slide through the last corner. But yes, that your goat Stroll. Stroll is P16 currently, ahead of Colapinto, Alonso, Albon, Perez, and Bottas. Terrible. But yes, so we all this Hadjar purple middle sector. Come on, Isaac. Isaac was all. No, Isaac collected the back of Kimi Antonelli here last year, didn't he? Yeah. In those terrible conditions into Stowe Corner, I believe. Now, we'll see what Isaac Hadjar's time looks like across the line. Hadjar jumps up too fastest by 0.3 of a second. Oh, Isaac, 30.969. Max Verstappen, who? All I know is Isaac Hadjar right now. He's absolutely Antonelli is also on a push lap. He's improved through the first to split. We'll see how it looks in just a second. He's a 10th up on Hadjar by the end of the first. By purple middle sector as well. However, the Mercedes dropped off in the last sector last time out. So we'll see whether that happens again. A little bit of traffic. He should be all right, realistically speaking, as Colapinto jumps up a little bit. Norris also jumps up. Not quite showing the pace of his teammate early doors. Nothing to particularly concerned about. Yeah, again, Antonelli's lost out to Hadjar. Jumps up to second. Very close, to be fair. He's lost out. Or the Mercedes has lost out at the very end of the lap. The replay here of Lando Norris through Stowe Corner. Stowe. Relatively neat, was it? Oh, a bit wide on exit. His handstand, no less. They all would have had a mini pack over that. Is the Williams of Alex Albon cutting across through Abbey and Farmer after running a little wider than I imagine he would have wanted. Just have this doesn't die. Thank you for the 57 months. Goodness, that's nearly older than I am. I'm kidding. 57 months membership, or who of course will be here for sprint qualifying later on today. Rise Max it is, yes. Anyways, back to the point I was trying to make before everyone started setting impressive times about why I think Red Bull will be good. We know they've got internal engine. And Max said that you spend most of the lap around Silverstone in these cars with incredibly low battery, which makes me think that we are kind of be less important. Like having a good battery is going to time is kind of what my theory was. So I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to be reliant on the internal combustion engines, who's got the best internal combustion engine? As the Aduo, which I'm not going to tell you that's not for, I don't remember. As the Aduo results show, Red Bull Ford powertrains have the best. As we see Charles jump up to fifth, 4/10 off the pace, not too shabby so far, all things considered. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what. And lo and behold, Red Bull first and third. Mercedes right now. Where are Mercedes? They are second and ninth. I would imagine something's probably gone wrong. Got to set another lap time because that I don't think he's this ninth. Lando is flying through the first sector. He just time through there. Then again, Hajjal was strong through the middle sector. So we'll see how that works out. But all snappy on the exit of Luffield towards Woodcut and down towards Cox, down the old start finish straight. Not quite what he would have wanted. Sorry, pardon me. I haven't enough vocal warm up for this session. Clearly, didn't consider I'd be doing an hour and a bit straight of just talking. That's rather annoying. I'm watching the Sky Sports broadcast, and they're currently doing a trackside bit with Martin Brundle, which means I'm having to peer a tiny little screen to see what the standings are and what's actually happening on. There we go. There we go. Big screen now. Lando peels into the pits after a yellow middle sector. Didn't quite see if he made a mistake there or not. Hulkenberg jumps up to 10th with a 1:31.907, just about a second off the pace to roughly be where Audi is, which is, yeah, it's not too bad. Go Max, yes. Red Bull generally, as I think the fact that Hadjar's topping session currently shows. I don't think Hadjar has topped a session in his career. If you up, I'm here with that. Seeing here the wind direction. Let's talk about the wind direction. Well, which way is it going? So it's going. I don't actually whether that's north, south, east. It's a tailwind down the main straight, and it's a headwind along the hangar straight towards Stoke Corner, which is turn 15. So they're just to give everyone an idea of what winds do, which will basically mean the cars might be a little bit unstable into corner. Russell's still up on Hadjar by the end of the middle sector. Well, again, we'll see if the Mercedes drops off in the last sector, if it happens again. If I were to describe the sector, I would say low speed because, of course, you got Vale and Club, which are fairly to the track. I think this are not quite slowest. You got Brooklands and the Loop. Yeah, Russell again lost out to final sector. He's dropped been about a tenth or in the final sector. Only 0.017 seconds off, but then again, that decides qualifying sessions. Even less than that decides qualifying sessions. As someone like George Russell would know, as someone who took pole position in one of the tightest, well, in the tightest margin you can get, the 2024 Canadian Grand Prix, on pole position ahead of Max Verstappen by 0.000 seconds. Which, quick fun fact for you all, as I have to quickly launch the live timings because I've gone to an ad break. The tightest, of course, that is the tightest qualifying gap you could get, as Bortoletto jumps up to 9th. That's not too shabby from him. The closest qualifying margin ever was a three-way tie between two Williams and a Ferrari back in 1997. It was, I'm going to get this, I'm thinking I'm going to get the order wrong. I think it was Jacques Villeneuve. Oh, I know the driver. It was Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen. I believe it was Villeneuve on pole, then Schumacher, then Frentzen. Which, of course, this was a very relevant race because there was a tight fight between between Schumacher and Villeneuve that year. That Villeneuve won after Schumacher's disqualification for driving into the side of Villeneuve in the exact same Grand Prix. Who's your best constructor to watch? Might be lost in translation there. Who's my favorite constructor? My favorite constructor is Audi. If I were to pick one to watch this weekend, it would be Red Bull. 100% it would be Red Bull. They are looking good. I had theories they'd be good this weekend. Clearly, they were good last time out on 1.3 seconds off the win around the Red Bull ring, which, I mean, it's a power track. That seems to be where they're good. So I can't say I'm super duper surprised. And Silverstone, again, a power track. So you kind of expect him to be doing well. Speaking of doing well, Kimi Antonelli, 1 lap of him. Yep. A strain being terrible. That's really kind of it. Try to reload it. Are we all good? I think we're all good now. There we go. We're all good. Nothing to worry about. Think Haas to make a comeback. Same here. I don't know how Haas have managed to fumble this so hard. They just completely dropped off the map. Really, it's a bit disappointing. If I'm to be completely honest, I've expected a bit more. When's the Lego race is the of course I mean I believe they will be allowed to race each other, but it is the it is the drive. It's in replacement for the drivers' parade, so it'll be happening on Sunday before the Grand Prix. If you're very lucky, they statistics may start up the stream a little bit early, and Grash might commentate that for you. You'll have to bring that up with him though, as that's not my job. I'll be watching it, but it'll be a bit too late for the rest of my family, so I won't keep them awake. There we go. My live images are back. I can give you accurate commentary. Just seeing a replay here of Kimi Antonelli approaching Village. Yeah, locks up the inside right, runs wide, and has to abort that lap. And a replay shows Leclerc here into the same corner again. And that is the direction of the. They are getting a tailwind into turn 3, which is up probably the biggest. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest braking zone of the circuit. So I can't say I'm surprised that's where they're struggling to get the car slowed down. We've seen Carlos, no, not Carlos. We've seen Alex Albon. We've seen Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris. We've seen a few drivers. Kimi Antonelli, yeah, make mistakes through there. So can't say I'm super duper surprised. Lewis Hamilton comes up to the line, only 4th. Didn't improve through the last sector. Imagine those hard tires are pretty used up now. Still about 4th the pace. Most people have entered the pits now. Always, if you have any questions to ask, feel free to ask them. Now is a brilliant time when there's not going to be a lot of action out on track. Stroll doesn't have a time yet. Stroll does have a time yet. It's just a time that is 4.28 seconds off the pace. So, yes, Carlos Sainz jumps up to 14th. That's not too bad from him. Of course, Williams will be hoping for a decent result this weekend, but they do not seem to have it so far. P14, P18. Of course, One positive thing is that does not appear Lando Norris's car's broken down yet, which is kind of a first for this year. He's had one weekend so far this year where he hasn't had any mechanical issues, and that was Barcelona. Didn't have a single one, which is not too shabby. Will this be another weekend like that? I guess we'll find out. The Maxiteers, or it's basically Musketeers, if you understand what that is. But if you're a Max Verstappen fan, which I mean, like I'm not a Max Glade, but he's the best driver currently on the grid. There's no arguing against that. So I'm a partial Maxiteer. Need to see Williams on the podium. Ah, I mean, yeah, we do. We do. Sorry, I don't know why I had to pause and think about it. Yes, we definitely do want to see Williams on the podium. I, I, it's something, a miracle is going to have to occur for that to happen. Fernando Alonso both suffering. Yep. Well, welcome to 2026 Aston Martin. I think everyone at garage is suffering. Let's go, Isaac. Yes, Isaac's again another driver who I think, all things considered, has been pretty underrated this year. Like, yeah, he's not outperforming Max every single weekend, but it's Max Verstappen. Doesn't have to. That's not the standard we set for Max Verstappen teammates. We set the standard of being there or thereabouts with Max Verstappen, his teammates, and doing that. So fair play to Isaac. He's off in the championship than I'm sure he would like. He's seen some reliability issues. He had that crash in Miami and the qualifying disqualification in Miami as well. He missed out on the podium because of engine issues. I heard someone explaining that recently. Apparently, he was basically running because, of course, all of the cars are V6 engines, V6 hybrids. Apparently, he was basically running on 5 cylinders, which you start to think, yeah, no wonder he messed up the red flag restart because he had 5 cylinders compared to Gasly's 6 and George's 6. No wonder that they both mugged him off line. I don't think it's he did anything wrong. I think it's genuinely just his car was so good at that stage. It's genuinely, it's like Daniel Ricciardo 2018 level. But despite that, he managed to make up for it. Aussie tears, yes. No, Oscar's doing pretty well. P6, that's not too shabby from him. Beating his teammate currently, not only in the FP1 times, but sorry, on in the drivers' standings by only 1 point. But considering he DNS'd the first 2 rounds, I'll take that. Backup drivers in FP2, we don't have an FP2. For those who may have missed it, this is a sprint weekend. We have the normal drivers in, no rookie drivers in for sprint weekends, because otherwise we would have drivers showing up on track for competitive sessions with no prior preparation. I think everyone's still on hard tires. Looking at Lando's car, at least, it's definitely got hard tires on. All right, through the first sector, he'll just look to try to keep it a bit cleaner. But yes, I've been looking at Lando definitely is running a different. Wasn't sure if it was just the light reflecting funny of his helmet, but no, he's definitely running a different one. So the normal black kind of blob shapes are like a reflective silver, and in the number 1 he's got, which has been gold so far this year, it's silver. It's primarily silver with a Union Jack in it, with some golden highlights, which I think looks pretty cool. So we're seeing he will be approaching the line soon to set a pretty competitive lap time. Oh, never mind. Never mind. That is not how you want to take club corner. That compromised him massively. He was only about 2/10 off Antonelli's time up until that point, and then just had the biggest wobble through club. Was basically drifting. So yeah, not quite it. seeing Charles Leclerc, yeah, he's on a set of hard. I'm about to go for another push lap. Sorry if I do yawn a little bit. It is 10 p.m. now where I am, a bit late. I will the session and lay down in bed and watch qualifying for junior forms of motorsport, which again I would highly recommend you will tune into. It's good quality racing, of course, equal machinery across all of them, which means those who do well genuinely are quick. Which is it's always fun to watch. Leclerc's improved. He's on a green first sector, tooths off Antonelli so far, so should be an improvement overall. I'd imagine this will put him probably somewhere around where Hamilton currently is. How do you get XP? I'm assuming you're talking about XP in terms of in the YouTube stream. Just chat. Use the chat. Engage with the stream. Of course, speaking of engaging, do like if you are enjoying the stream. You dead like I'm going to be happy with you. I will come find you. Hi, kid. So do leave a like if you're enjoying the stream. And if you want to not miss any notifications as to our future streams, I click the be notified of every single broadcast we do, which will be which will be great. We love to have as many people here as possible. Charles Leclerc, yep, just as I guessed. Jump to about where Lewis is, P4, exactly where Lewis was. 201. Nearly sub 30 play here of land is into very wide through Stone. Did anyways. Scraping a lot of so yeah. Like I imagine he will to do that many more times. Always fight for Merckx, Ham, and Max will be superb. I mean, you say Ham and Max, just P1, P5, P6. Out of a front running fight if you're going to count Max Verstappen at this stage. Lewis to start another push lap of hard compound. We are past halfway into the session. Sorry. Ugh. Try to keep myself awake. Should be right. Looking pretty neat and tidy so far for the lap. Those are pretty used hard tires. I'd imagine they'll probably want to use a set of maybe might want to use a set of hard tires considering temperatures are going to be pretty high for the Grand Prix. And then of course there's a question of what tires in the sprint I'll use. You might see them using the softs because because the softs are C3 tires, which are the preferred tires by the teams just overall. So we might see some soft tires. We might not. We'll find out. Norris also on a lap, not improving through the first sector. The good thing is we will get push laps on soft tires later in this session, so don't you worry. I say the good thing is no one's bended into a wall yet, which is always nice. It means we can get some good clean running, which we really, really need. Of course, with it being a sprint weekend, and this is the only free practice session. When does free practice one end? We have 26 and up 35 seconds now. So it won't be, we're about halfway through. And then we will get sprint qualifying later today. Oh my goodness. Wow. Purple last sector absolutely nailed it. Lewis Hamilton just on fast, which was a 1:35.21. 5.6 up on Ant's previous time. So that's a stonking lap from Lewis. I'm sure he will be quite happy with that. And I'm sure all of the British fans, not only at Silverstone, but around the world, will be rather pleased with that one too, as Lando across the line does not improve on his lap time. Seeing Nico, like Audi looking pretty good. They're thereabouts with Racing Bulls. I've just got to, not DNF, has often been the case, and also not from the 11. But stays 11th. Still awesome. and his teammate Bortoleto is ninth. So we got Audi ninth and 11, and Racing Bulls 10 and 12. Speaking of Racing Bulls, there's Liam Lawson coming in for some pit stop practice. Let's see how this looks. That was pretty good. Racing Bulls set the fastest pit stop time last time out in Austria, like 2.1, I think was the time. Let's go, King. So, yep, that 100%. That was a very, very respectable lap from Lewis Hamilton. Yellow flag. Yellow flag. What has happened? I just said we got in clean. Please don't tell me something's just gone wrong. Ooh, there's a McLaren third. Also had a bit of advantage. We look like we're all right. He's got Flovis on. We're about to see a replay now. He's approaching Maggots Beckett. What happens? Turns into Maggots Beckett's. Oh, nasty. So he's gone through turn 12 and he's lost the rear kind of pretty suddenly to turn the kind of inside curb, exited the inside curb on turn 12, and the rear end just stepped down on him completely. He's backwards towards the wall in Beckett. Yeah, that's not what people want to be seeing. He's managed to stop it and keep it going, but by his own words, those tires, I'm surprised. Big old slide for him. I need Max or Lewis to win, please. Yeah, no, I do kind of agree. I say it'll be interesting because Flo is soft tires. Tires alert! Soft tires have been spotted. 18th and 9th. But get ready to be long and seeing some team running the soft compound tires, which is when we'll really some blistering fun. Die on me. That's right. I can't see anything now. Come on. They are back. See everything. Like, broadcast and it's nice. Apologies, ladies who falls into the back real good. Not crazy how I that time I was gone. Oscar Sheesh, yeah, that was a Karen looks so far this weekend. The wind direction. What's there? Gasly quote: "This car is very unpredictable. I'm not liking this at all." So, not happy with the car. Him down in P15 means I'm not super surprised about that. Oh goodness me! Sorry, we're currently I just saw an onboard shot of the Aston Martin. So Fernando Alonso. I don't know how he sees out of those mirrors. They are vibrating. Fair, he's vibrating so much as well. But yikes, that's not what I see. Really haven't. Oh, sorry. Really haven't got on top of these vibration issues at all. I would imagine it's just ones who have learned how to manage it now. Again, they've trackside view for Martin Brundle on Sky Sports, which now I'm having to squint in a tiny little box to try to see what's happening. So I can give you perfect commentary, but it should do. Being hey, welcome back. I'm gonna try to say that name. Why is Lando not on the map but sitting lap times? Is Lando not on the map? No, Norris is on track. Everything I can see. So I think you might have just missed him. If he was next to another car, the dots might have been lapping. That might have been why you didn't see him. How many rooting for Max? Yes, tell us what rooting for, whether it be Max Verstappen, whether it be Hamilton, Manuel, Oscar, George, Kimi, whoever it may be. Let us know what cheering for this weekend. I'm always cheering for Oscar, but I mean, really, I'm kind of one of those fans who's here for good racing. So, or it could be P17, but if he's fighting wheel to wheel, I would not mind. Really nice look at the Cadillac. It really is a nice livery. Radio Sergio Perez, can't quite tell what he's saying. Yeah, the helmet is not fixed. Oh, Sergio Perez's visor isn't closing properly. Oh, that's unpleasant. No one likes that. I would imagine he's not a fan of that, and if anything, it's a bit of a safety hazard. Why has I think I he says he's having right now. Apologies, everyone. Can't currently see anything. It's all frozen. Hopefully, it unfreezes in a minute. Hello. What on earth? Oh, there we are. We're all good now. We are. Sorry about the short interruption. I don't know what was happening there. But yes, here we are. All right, we're all good now. Is it possible to show top speeds, please? Mr. John Racing Statistics, can we organize that? Even if it's a temporary thing. Top speeds graphic. Of course, we can see the sectors there, but... Oh, no, we do have top speeds. The top right. You see that? The shuffling on the top right shows the top speed. It looks like Lawson is at the top of that with 325 kilometers an hour currently. Cadillac at third and fourth. That's not bad from Cadillac. Look at them go. Is chucked on a set of soft compound tires. Speaking of different compounds of tire, Lawson is on a set of medium tires right now. That's very exciting. I was just going to add brakes, so not going to for a bit. But yes, that would explain why Sergio Perez is up to P14 currently, but is still 2.4 seconds off the pace of Hamilton on a set of hards. It's rough. It's rough for Cadillac. I think Perez has got it still more than Bottas does. And it's a shame that he will probably have to see his days out in this questionable pace Cadillac. We will see. Yes, both racing bulls are on medium tires now. Hi, first time here. Can someone give me intel on the color for the micro sectors? Yes. So yellow, they're mini sectors is what they're called. The yellow ones are basically you gone through the sector and it's not the fastest you've ever gone through that mini sector. And they basically function like the normal big three sectors. So the yellow mini sector means you didn't improve relative to your fastest lap time. Green means you have improved relative to your fastest lap time. Blue means you're either entering or exiting the pits through those mini sectors. So you're either on pit entrance or pit exit. And with the fact that the pit entrance and pit exit cover a fair bit of actual track, that is why we see so much being. That's why we see so much. That's why we see so many blue mini sectors, is because a lot is included in that pit entrance and exit. And I will also quickly cover one you might not have seen if you've only just arrived, which is the purple ones, which functions like a purple sector, which is basically you have set the fastest time through that sector of anyone. Understood? All good. No, glad I can fill you in so you can all keep up to date. There's nothing worse than seeing graphics that you don't understand. So Bottas is out on a set of soft compound tires. Seeing here, Lindblad is improving on his medium tyres, as we would hope, considering that all the laps he's done prior to this have been on the hard-bound tyres. Unfortunately, I am still on ad breaks. I can't give you the verse. But yes, we've got 4 teams have hit the soft tyres. We have Bottas, Stroll, Alonso, and Perez. And we have Lawson and Lindblad on medium tyres, who are yet to set lap times. Looks like Lawson might have abandoned his lap, but Lindblad is pushing on. So I imagine we will probably see him jump up the timing table a bit in just a minute. Let's see here. He'll be finishing his final sector in just a second, and we will see where he goes. Yes, Lawson banned his sub. Lindblad only jumps to 11th. Of course, he improves on all of his sectors, but only 11th. I would have expected a little bit more of a jump, considering that the gaps to the front runners aren't massive, as they often do tend to be. I mean, Bortoletto is currently best of the rest, and he's about 3/10 off Norris's time. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of not what I would have expected. Perez in P14, yeah, basically he's slapped on a set of soft tires, and no one else has yet. So that is why he is P14. That's not actually spaces rather than I was seeing a replay here of what happened to Nico Hulkenberg, I think it was, is just Lawson after exiting the pits. Speaking of Liam Lawson, he jumps up to 3rd on his medium tyre run. That's a little bit more of what I was expecting. It makes me think something might have not worked out for Lindblad's lap. Did, but P3 for Lawson, not too shabby, especially on the mediums. He'll be happy with that. Ugh, sorry. Bottas also has jumped up to 13th on his soft tyre run. I look here. I see a Mercedes exiting the pit. It's George Russell. Those are soft tyres, I believe. Yes, they are. Soft tyres on the. That's there. Yeah. Soft tyres on a competitive car, being the competitive car of George Russell. Oh, sorry, no, I missed. That is a McLaren of someone. Someone can tell you who, because the cameras are way too zoomed out. But I think that might be Oscar. Yes, that is. I'm second guessing myself. Oh, because Oscar's got a bunch of different helmets, which he showed off. On board with Max Verstappen as he runs against cops. Let's see what's happened to him. Race control involving car 3. Max Verstappen yellow flag infringement. Not good. Yes, it is Piastri on the soft compound tires. I was correct. He's got. I think he's running like 3 different helmets this weekend. It's really making the commentators' lives so easy. Like this one's white, but he was running like a purpley pink one earlier in the weekend. How much time are people running on the softs? 1 second is the approximation from the Williams gang. Purple sector 1, real shocker, about half a second up on Hamilton. So the estimation is people are finding about a second a lap from hards to softs. So we're also about to see. I know no further investigation for Max Verstappen yellow flag infringement. We are all good. Let's see what Russell's first sector time looks like. He'll be approaching that pretty soon. It is up on purple sector 1. Piastri hasn't gained as much through the middle sector as he has through the first, which is interesting because the middle sector pretty heavy on the tires. So I would have expected a jump from hards to softs to gain a little bit more for the McLaren driver relative to a hard tyre run. Piastri to the line, unsurprisingly, goes fastest, not by much. Or 30.147, only about 4/10 up on Lewis Hamilton's hard tyre run. Plus, kind of put into perspective how impressive that run was from Lewis. George is about 2/10 up, purple sector 1, sector 2 on Oscar Piastri. Kimi's about to reach the end of the first sector. Let's see how he's doing with his British teammate. He's purple sector 1, more up on Oscar than George is through the first sector. Not too bad. George Russell is now approaching the line. George Russell to the line fastest by 0.2 of a second over the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. We're now riding on board with Kimi Antonelli here. We'll see it's looking pretty clean so far through Stowe. Looks like it's absolutely on rails. Charles Leclerc's on a set of softs, personal best in the first sector. And Hadjar's also on a set of softs, so I want to see this first sector. 0.2 down on George Russell's first sector. Yikes. Speaking of 0.2, no, actually closer to 0.3, Kimi Antonelli is up on George Russell with a purple middle sector. Lindblad up to 9th on a set of medium tyres. We'll see. Oh, little bit wide through Stowe. Sainz jumps up to 11th on his soft tyre run. Kimi Antonelli now towards the line. Is it fastest? It is fastest by nearly half a second over George Russell. That's a length and a half to put over your teammate. Now let's see how Charles Leclerc's looking. Towards the line he comes now. Charles Leclerc jumps up to 3rd. Purple last sector. So he closed in a bit, but it's still 0.0566 seconds off the time of Kimi Antonelli. That was a blistering lap from Kimi Antonelli. We'll see Hadjar's time now. Colapinto jumps up to 8th on mediums. That's not bad. I'd take that for Colapinto. Hadjar jumps up to 5th behind Piastri. A 1.338 for him. Hamilton's on an out lap. I would imagine he'll be on highs. The Lando here, I believe, yes, he is on a lap. Sainz Albon now 13th respectively, 2.2 seconds off the pace. Ocon jumped up to 13th, whilst 14th is Behrman. No, 16th for Ocon, 14th for Behrman. Sorry, I don't know what I was saying. Norris, again, hiding through club corner. McLaren's really not liking that corner. Norris only behind his teammate, a 30.228, a 10th and a bit off his teammate. Again, another weekend where Lando doesn't seem to quite have it as much as Oscar does, which of course is not what Lando wants. Not necessarily. I mean, I want Oscar to be ahead because I'm an Oscar fan, but I don't want the gap to be massive because that's no fun. I want to see Oscar being pushed by his teammate. Lewis is on a pretty good first sector, only 0.034 seconds off Kimi's. Not quite fastest first sector, but still within touching distance if you can nail the rest of the lap. I think Charles Leclerc at the fastest last sector. So he's, I imagine, for being the final sector, fairly, which again, not surprising. So we'll see if you can close that massive chasm that Kimi Antonelli has set to the rest of the field. Wow, still thereabouts, only 0.051 seconds off the end of the final sector or middle sector, sorry, for Lewis Hamilton. Was go faster than Kimi Antonelli's blistering 1:29.473. It'd be a mega lap from him, but if any man can deliver a mega lap, it would be one Lewis Hamilton. He's got his own throwback helmet on. Was it? He's 2007 in the helm, as he does by 0.2 of a second. Oh my goodness. The king of Silverstone and he is back with fighting fists. 0.2 of a second he's put on Kimi Antonelli. Nailed the last sector. Absolutely flying. Speaking of flying, Max Verstappen, new set of soft tyres for him. Oh, but he's not liked it through Village. He's had to take a couple of jabs at it. Medium tyres, Nico Hulkenberg jumps up to 8th. Only 0.5 off Hadjar. That's not bad for a set of medium tyres on a midfield car, no less. I'll be interested to see where Bortoletto jumps in a minute. Verstappen 0.3 off through the middle sector from Hamilton. We'll see how that progresses. I must say it's interesting that the as Bortoleto, sorry, jumps up to 10th. It's interesting that a fair few of the midfield teams, so Audi, Racing Bulls, have done medium push laps where basically no one else has. Stroll's currently on a set of mediums, but I don't think he's trying to improve out there or anything. It makes me wonder if this might indicate a possible choice to use a set of softs maybe in the sprint race, as it's now 7/10 off Verstappen by the end of the second sector. Leclerc improves on his time, jumps up to third, now only 6/10 off the time of his teammate. Yeah, no, might want to just throw this weekend in the bin if you're a Charles Leclerc fan. Sorry, Matt. You're not going to be pleased with this one. Of course, he's trackside this weekend. Verstappen to the line. Sixth ahead of his teammate, a 1:32.40 gap, despite the fact it's sixth and eighth, isn't actually that big. Lando's on an outlap. I would imagine that'll be on a set of soft compound tires. You'll see where that puts him. We have 4 minutes left. Honestly, I would have thought we'd get a little bit more running on the soft tires, but whatever, floats one boat. Thing is, work being done on Sergio Perez's car, I don't think we'll necessarily see him back out. Oh, goodness me, this session's killing my throat. I'll live. I'll live. As we see, Lewis is about to go on another lap on the same tyres. He's got that blistering 1:29.260. Lewis can cook today. Yes, he is, and he might just be about to cook again. But yeah, wow. Looking here, Hamilton track dominance between Hamilton and Antonelli. Hamilton's faster through kind of turn 3, turn 4. Through turn 6, turn 7, don't make the joke. Don't. It's not funny. And then faster from turn 14 to 17. So, yeah, wow. That's pretty big. That he's comfortably fast, that much faster. The through the oh, hang on, what? Sorry. Okay. Anyways, seeing a replay here of Pierre Gasly having a nasty old lockup again into Village. So yeah, that definitely a trouble for this. Where looking here, Hamilton he's abandoned his lap. Might be on a double cool, I'd imagine. Then yes, he would be. Gasly now jumps up to 18th on a set of mediums, over 1.2 seconds off Franco Colapinto. Not what he would. Ocon now jumps up to 15th. Identical time to Carlos Sainz, 2.424 seconds off the pace of Sir Lewis Hamilton. As Gasly's lap time now gets deleted, so I imagine that's the one we ran quite wide. Seeing Behrman now on a lap, he's got a special lid for this weekend. Of course, being his home Grand Prix, he would have probably liked to think that Haas might have carried their strong midfield performances as far to this weekend, but unfortunately they have not. Seeing here now, Oscar Piastri's on an out lap. Yeah, Behrman, nothing crazy through the first sector, not even a personal best. So I don't think we'll necessarily see him shoot any further up the time. Oh, sorry. Any further up the timing table. I've been yawning so much I don't normally yawn, even when I am about to go to bed. At this rate, I'll fall asleep before sprint qualifying, which I mean, it's a little bit tempting. It's only sprint qualifying. I could watch it when I get up in the morning, and I wouldn't mind getting to have a proper snooze. Depends. We'll see how I feel. Personal best middle sector for Oliman Beman. Actually, speaking of slightly more competitive drivers, Zach Hadjar, more slight traffic issues with an Aston Martin through Club Corner as he gets held up a bit. He's only 8th. Behrman will be next across the line. Does he improve? Yeah, 14th. Not too shabby. Ignore the fact he's 2.1 seconds off Hamilton's pace. Don't have to think about that. I don't want to think about that. Hulkenberg improves on set of medium tyres. He's now just under 5/10. Yep, just under 5/10 off the pace. So not actually, no, yeah, it's about 4/10 now. So that's not too shabby from him. I don't know if we're going to see any more times. Perez is back out on track. Everyone's actually being. I don't believe flying through their laps. We'll have a look-see though, as the checkered flag is waving. Verstappen actually, no, sorry. Verstappen has set a personal best in the sector. He's on a lap. Leclerc, Norris, both in the line. Bortoleto, Ocon, Albon, and Bottas have taken the line, which means Hulkenberg, Wilson, Colapinto, Bortoleto, Lindblad haven't done a soft tyre run. Interesting. And Gasly too, I believe. All right, we'll see what Verstappen can do. I didn't see the first split. Let's see if it's anywhere near 5/10 off the pace by the end of the middle sector, and we know how good the Ferrari is through the last sector. So that'll work. The last work out in his favour. Let's see here. Verstappen will be crossing the line in just a second. Piastri now takes the line. Verstappen and Hamilton and Hadjar are the only ones left. Verstappen does not improve. Not great for him. Not what he would have wanted to see. P6 overall. I don't think we're seeing any more improvements. You can yell at me if I'm wrong. Yep, that looks to be it. Lindblad's reporting some engine with engine sound. Sorry, just sound. He's hearing it. He's not feeling it. So hopefully it's not too bad. Of course, he would like this Grand Prix weekend to go as smoothly as possible. Yeah, it was smooth. Only one small yellow flag where Oscar Piastri felt like taking Beckett's backwards rather than forwards. You've got to try some alternate lines every now and then. Topping the session was Lewis Hamilton. He completed 30 laps. They won 29.260, 2/10 ahead of the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli. So I would imagine he'll be rather pleased with that. Of course, Hamilton is insanely competitive around here, no matter what year it is, whether the car's actually any good or not. So we'll see if he can deliver it to being a point scoring performance later on. But now topping free practice one is the best he's going to get, which I'm sure he would rather do once the broadcast decides to show it to me. I will run you through all the times everyone's set. So seeing some practice starts now. Things looking all good. You've got to get the revs up as always. Just going to. All right, here we are. I'll give you a run through of our time. So Hamilton is out in front. Kimi Antonelli second. Charles Leclerc third. George Russell Piastri fifth. Verstappen sixth. Norris seventh. Hadjar eighth. Hulkenberg ended up best of the rest in ninth. Liam Lawson was 10th. Then Colapinto just outside with a fairly respectable P11, comfortably outperforming his teammate. Gabriel Bortoleto is in 12th. Lindblad in 13th, his first British Grand weekend. 14th for Oliver Behrman. 15th for Carlos. 16th for Esteban Ocon. 17th for Alex Albon. 18th for Valtteri Bottas. 19th for Sergio Perez. 20th for Fernando Alonso. Gasly, bit disappointing, down in 21st. And finally, to round off the field, Lance Stroll in 22nd. Well, that was a pretty straightforward session. Nothing too chaotic happened. I hope you all enjoyed my commentary. I've enjoyed having a chat with you all. Crash will fill in for the sprint qualifying later today or later this evening. Actually, it's early morning for me. So you will get to hear from him later today, and you'll get to hear from me again tomorrow for this sprint. So I'm looking forward to that. I reckon it'll be a lot of fun. So I will see you all then. But for now, I shall wrap up and go to bed. Good night all. Enjoy sprint qualifying.